class, we learned about Frederick Soros and his utopian vision. In today's class, we are going to learn about the French Revolution and the idea of nation. In class 9, we have already studied in depth about the French Revolution and how it impacted the other neighboring countries and the world. So, if you want to refer, you can check the previous year history textbook. Okay, students, let's go to today's class. The French Revolution took place in the year 1789. It was one of the most remarkable year in the history of France and as well as the whole world, and it was also the first clear expression of nationalism. At that time, that is, in the year 1789, France was a full-fledged territorial state under the rule of absolute monarchy. With the advent of the French Revolution, there came many political and constitutional changes, and these changes led to the transfer of sovereignty from the monarchy to the French citizens. Sovereignty means supreme power or authority to rule a country. So now, after the political and constitutional changes, the monarchy no more had the supreme power, but it was transferred to French citizens, and this revolution proclaimed or announced publicly to the world that it was the people who should constitute the nation and shape its destiny. We see that from the very beginning, the French revolutionaries introduced many new measures and practices, which created a sense of togetherness and collective identity among the people. And many new ideas came up, some of them being La Patrie, which means the fatherland, Les Citoyens, which means the citizen. So, these new ideas they created the concept of united community under a constitution where they could enjoy equal rights. After that, a new French flag, the tricolor was chosen, so it could replace the former royal standard. That is, the French flag stood against monarchy and came out in the notion that the people are ruling themselves. Furthermore, the Estate General, which was elected by some people known as the active citizens, was renamed to National Assembly. New hymns or anthems were composed, new oaths were taken, and martyrs commemorated in the name of nation. Apart from this, the new ideas, a centralized administrative system came into picture and formulated uniform laws for the citizen who lived within their territory. Furthermore, we see that internal customs duties and dues were also abolished, bringing it a lot of trade opportunities to the people, and the uniform system of weights and measures were introduced. Apart from that, the usage of local or regional dialects were discouraged, and French became the common language of the nation, as it was also spoken and written in capital of France, Paris. And further, the revolutionaries declared that it was their mission and the destiny of the French nation to liberate all the people of Europe from despotism. Despotism means a country under the ruler having absolute power. So, it was this despotism that the people of France aimed to remove not only in their country but the entire Europe. In other words, they wanted help other people of Europe become nation state like France. When the news of the events in France reached the different cities of Europe, people reacted in positive way. Many students and other members of educated middle class started to set up Jacobin clubs, and the activities associated with the Jacobin clubs include campaigns involving and inspiring people to have a nation of their own. And these activities and campaigns prepared the way for the French armies, and they enabled them to move into other countries of Europe such as Holland, Belgium, Switzerland, and much of Italy in the year 1790. And with the outbreak of revolution, the French armies started to carry the ideas of nationalism in abroad. Within the entire territory that came under Napoleon's control, he set about introducing many new reforms. He already introduced in France, so his reforms were practiced within and outside of France. Through a return to monarchy, before Napoleon, the people were ruling themselves. After Napoleon came back to power, he became a monarch again, and there was a return of monarchical system which destroyed democracy in France. However, in the administrative field, he had incorporated many revolutionary principles in order to make sure that the administrative system was more rational as well as efficient. He introduced Code of 1804, which was popularly known as Napoleonic Code. He eliminated all the privileges based on birth and established equality before law and secured the rights to property. So for example, in old regime of France were estates and people enjoyed birth privileges. But this Napoleonic Code destroyed all those privileges and made all the people equal before the eyes of law. And this code then exported to other regions under the French control. In the Dutch Republic in Switzerland and in the state like Italy and Germany, Napoleon was able to simplify administrative divisions. He abolished the feudal system, which enabled people to have birth privileges, and he made sure that he freed peasants from serfdom and manorial dues. Here, serfdom means feudal laborer whose life goal was to work under nobles, and manorial dues means the dues that are paid by peasants to landlords. So here, Napoleon freed these people from slavery and feudal duties. And even in towns, many restrictions were removed. These are some of the major contributions by Napoleon to the society. The transport and communication system was also improved during the time. We can see that the peasants, artisans, and new businessmen encouraged and were very happy of this newfound freedom from Napoleonic Code. We see that the business, particularly the small producer of goods, started to realize that this uniform laws, common national currency, and standardized weights and measures that were introduced would help in exchange of goods and capital from one region to another. It made everything simple when it came to trade. However, we see that the relations of the local population to French rule were mixed. Initially, in places like Holland and Switzerland, as well as in some of the major cities like Brussels, Mainz, Milan, and Warsaw, the French armies were welcomed as harbingers. That is, they were welcomed as indicators of liberty. But this initial enthusiasm was temporary and soon turned to bitterness and hostility as it became clear that the new administrative arrangements that were made were not in line with political freedom they expected. Though he abolished feudal privileges and developed transport and communication system, he eventually increased tax at particular part of time, increased censorship and controlled the press. There were forced conspirations into the French armies. It required to conquer the rest of the Europe and not just help the Europe become liberal. So it all seemed to outweigh the advantages, all the administrative changes or benefit that came with the French armies. So this was about the French Revolution and the entire idea of having nation state into existence. Okay students, that's all for today's class.